the aftermath of Anthony Joshua losing, I try to see what is the topic that most people are talking about. Like, what is it that people had to say? And what I found, basically scrolling the comments and looking at other videos, predominantly what people were saying is, number one, some people didn't like that I complimented Anthony Joshua in his effort. Some people say that that is an attempt to cover up the fact that he did a piss poor job and he looked shitty. What you would have to say about that, or what I have to say about that, is simply this. If there were ever a time that you were quick to compliment Anthony Joshua when he has done something correct or worthy of praise, then what you would say would at least hold some kind of weight. But since you don't have the ability, and since you have never done that, then how could I listen to what you say when you are not used to even giving people props or complimented when it is due? So if you've never been on the other side of that spectrum, you're definitely not somebody that can come to me and suggest something else, because I've only ever heard the negative when it comes to this dude. You know what I'm saying? I only ever heard the negative. The only thing I say is it's a step up better from when I seen him in trouble the last time, when he was in trouble with like Andy Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? I can tell that he didn't want to be there. I could tell that he was looking for a way out. I could see him looking towards the ref. I could tell that he spit out his mouth guard to get more time. The only thing I said is that wasn't present at this fight. And to me, that's a character upgrade. And it is. If you don't want to give him credit for that, guess what? You don't have to. But what you don't do don't affect how I feel. And it should be the same and vice versa. Now, the other thing is people's constant criticism of Anthony Joshua is that covering up Daniel win. Yes, it is. People are so quick to trash Anthony Joshua that Anthony Joshua's trashing and criticism is totally overshadowing Daniel's win. Daniel was just the better fighter that night. He was just a better man. No, Daniel actually looked that good. It wasn't so much what Anthony Joshua didn't do or wasn't doing or don't have the ability to do. It's also because Daniel was actually just that good. He looked that good in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And yes, it's being overshadowed as if Daniel's skills didn't have nothing to play in the part of Anthony Joshua losing. It's just the fact that he sucks that much. So in the end, trying to talk shit about Anthony Joshua, you totally take away from Daniel. But I get the negativity is stronger than anything else. So they don't even care if Daniel don't get his props. They just saying, look, Anthony Joshua sucks. Forgetting the fact that Daniel was just on point. The kid looked good. And if he keeps showing up like that, he's a problem. If he keeps showing up like that, he's a problem. Definitely. And this does nothing but boost his confidence. So he's going to be more confident. So he's going to be even more of a problem. Yes, it totally overshadows that. And that's a shame, because it wasn't so much of what Anthony Joshua was doing. It's also what Daniel didn't allow him to do, what Daniel took away, and what Daniel did inside that ring. So yes, that is true. The other thing I see, some people are so offended that I said that I believe Anthony Joshua, if he fights Usyk again, he should beat him. What's wrong with that? Why does that bother you so much? I know why it bothers you, but I'm going to get to that later. You know, but that shouldn't bother you if I feel like that. You know what I'm saying? I like to see fights. I still want to see Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. I still want to see Crawford versus Jamel. Once I like a fight, I like a fight, and I want to see it. It has nothing to do with the reasons why you think I want to see a fight. But basically, people say, well, if you didn't know Anthony Joshua was going to lose, then basically you don't know shit about boxing. That's said from people who don't know shit about boxing. You know what I'm saying? Because if the undisputed champion, Alexander Usyk, is scratching his head and he doesn't understand what happened, I'm not allowed to get it wrong either. I mean, the total sensitivity of this is ridiculous. And based off that, well, you know, Anthony Joshua got his ass whooped, so there's no way that he could beat Usyk. Okay, let's entertain that for a minute. So is it safe to say that Daniel is better than Usyk, being that he did something to Anthony Joshua that Usyk couldn't do in 2 fights? You know, 24 rounds. He did something that Usyk couldn't do. And being that Anthony Joshua did better against Usyk than he did Daniel, and Daniel did better against Anthony Joshua than Usyk, is it safe to say that Daniel beats Usyk? You see how that works? So if you want to base off what Anthony Joshua can't do because he lost to Daniel, well, Daniel did a much more better job in dispatch of Anthony Joshua quicker than the 2 fights that Usyk had. So if we're basing it off somebody's last fight, can I also base that Daniel would beat Usyk off of that last fight? Oh, no, we can't do that. That's wrong. That's the triangle theory. So if it's like that, then why would you have a problem if I thought, or if I believe if he fought Usyk again, he could win? There ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Now let me tell you why some of you, not all, because this doesn't apply, but we have to call people out on here because the atmosphere of boxing is just toxic. The true reason why you have a problem with me even suggesting or wanting to see that fight with some of you out there is because Usyk is white. Now, this is what I want to understand, my Caucasian boxing fans, not all of you, just for the ones that it apply to. So if you get offended, I'm talking to you. Last time I checked, Anthony's black. Last time I checked, Daniel was black. Can you please explain to me why after this fight, I was receiving racism from you guys? Can you please explain that to me? Because when 2 black fighters fight, how does that warrant racism from white boxing fans? You know what somebody wrote me that they end up erasing? They said, this is sweet. The only thing better than this, if Daniel was white, then that would really shut Bruce up. Excuse me? That would really, it shows you what time you're on. Listen, I'm well aware that y'all have this fixation where y'all want to be better than a black boxer or black people in general. I'm aware of this, and I've always made y'all aware of this. I know this. Once again, this is just who this applies to. Your issue is not my fault, okay? Let me just say that. Your issue is you feel insecure in combat sports because you are viewed as the weakest link as far as fighting goes. I didn't create that stereotype. You know, I didn't bring it into the world. I don't back up that stereotype. I don't promote that stereotype. But when you have a problem with me saying that I want to see a fight and you base it off of because Anthony Joshua is black, being that my favorite heavyweight is Caucasian, which everybody should know, this is what I figure out. Y'all actually know that because I said it enough times. Who my favorite heavyweight is. So you guys are well aware that my favorite heavyweight is a Caucasian, and you still come at me with racism. That's your insecurity. It ain't nothing else. Because I don't know how many times I show you that I'm for everybody and I will promote everybody, but I understand everybody is not for us. And you mad because I just point that out? That's all that I'm doing. But that's your true issue with me saying that. Because other than that, there's no problem with me want to see Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, is it? Is it? You ain't criticizing me then, is it? You know? But I'm just saying I would want to see the fight again. I would like for the person that made this whole undisputed situation get a chance to be undisputed, yes. But it has nothing to do with wanting somebody to beat Usyk because I want a black man to stand over a chest of a white man. That's what y'all do. That's what your fathers did. That's what your history consists of and what you still do to this day. Whether some of you want to acknowledge it, not acknowledge it, or just flat out ignore it. We all know it exists, but that's your real problem with me saying that. It's not the fact that I want to see a fight. It's the fact that you feel inadequate in combat sports. Once again, that is not my fault. Okay. Now, as far what Anthony Joshua does from here, is he finished? Is he this? Is he that? I say at this point, how could he? The heavyweight division is too small and he's the money man. Okay. Let's not forget who turned on the lights. It's strongly to believe if he left, the lights would turn right back off, because who else was doing it? And with a guy supposedly this limited, why somebody didn't come along and do what Anthony Joshua did a long time ago is a question nobody answers. If he's so limited, if he's so soft, if he's so this, how come nobody else did what he did? That's something that I want answered. How come nobody else have done it? Why did it take this limited, soft, sweet chin, mentally weak person to basically dominate and take over the heavyweight division if so many other people are better and so many people? What stopped them from doing it? See, I just acknowledge and admire the effort, and I pay homage to the effort. That's something that we all should do, because we want that kind of attitude duplicated. If you don't, then you get the Canelo Alvarez situation, and you see how bad that is for boxing. Just saying though. But at the end of the day, the criticism of Anthony Joshua does take away from Daniel's win. And I think Daniel was just that good on that night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Anthony Joshua had his flaws, but Daniel really showed out. You know what I'm saying? And the spotlight should really be on Daniel more than people want to criticize Anthony Joshua. But hate rise above all, especially on social media.